Hey guys, Anime Cake here, and today I just recently beat Dark Souls 3. And this video is not going to be a walkthrough, a playthrough, a PvP montage, or anything like that. It's simply just going to be why Dark Souls 3 is the best game I have ever played. Before I get started, I just wanted to say that all the gameplay takes place in the beginning areas of the game, so not many spoilers will happen. Over the past week, I have completely immersed myself in the world of Dark Souls 3, and I'm happy to say that after 30 plus hours, I have finally beaten the game. But I didn't just beat the game, I completed an epic journey that was unique to me and only me. My character's name was London, and she has traveled countless miles and died hundreds of times, but eventually I conquered the world and was finally able to complete her story. London, a red-haired knight who started out only with a longsword and a life ring, has finally ended her journey and decided the fate of the world. It was a long and satisfying journey, and I still can't get enough. I still don't want to put the game down. As a veteran Souls player, I wasn't surprised when, after a short cutscene, I was dropped inside the world, not understanding much of anything. The one thing I did understand was that it was a Souls game, and I had to fight my way through to get to the bonfire. Death is real in a Souls game. It's something we experience, and it's also something our character experiences. If you look into your inventory, you can see a dark sign. This is what we're branded with, and this is what makes us always come back after death from the bonfire. Another thing that makes death real is your bloodstain, which remains wherever you died and contains all your souls which you use to level up, purchase items, and upgrade weapons. After making it through the tutorial, I made it to Firelink Shrine, which serves as the hub area. From here, you're able to warp to all other bonfires you have discovered. I also noticed that instead of leveling up at the bonfire, you must speak to the Firekeeper to level up, which is a nice little touch they kept from Dark Souls 2. After speaking with the NPCs and getting a general idea of what I should be doing, I warped to the High Wall of Lothric, and my journey began. The areas in Dark Souls 3 are gorgeous. They are all pleasing to the eye and incredibly detailed. Dark Souls is not entirely an open world game. In reality, it's a bunch of non-linear dungeons all connected together, so you get that real feeling of start, middle, and end. The level design has always been top-notch in the Souls games, but Dark Souls 3 has to be the best one so far. You must work to get to the next bonfire, and shortcuts such as the elevators and ladders are always placed in just the right areas. It would always feel nice whenever I explored a location and figured out that it all interconnected. It makes the world seem real and worth exploring. Furthermore, whenever I would stand over a cliffside and take in the view, it felt great knowing that all the places I can see in the distance I could actually get to. The world of Dark Souls is simply beautiful. The world is also deadly. Even as a veteran Souls player, I can safely say that the game is unforgiving and a real challenge in some places. As you get stronger, so do the enemies you encounter, and you really have to learn how to conserve Estus and deal with enemies quickly and efficiently. There are many areas of the game where you have to fight several enemies on screen at one time. This was particularly clever, as it forces you to go onto the offensive instead of hiding behind a shield the entire time. The bosses were really unique this time around. While some were a little easy, others were devastating. I quickly found that lots of bosses could 2 or 3 shot me, and it really made me study the moves if I wanted to beat them. Without spoiling anything, I will say the final boss is one of the toughest bosses in the entire Souls series, and it took me almost an hour to beat him, but eventually I conquered him. And that's the best part of Dark Souls, that feeling you get when you finally defeat a boss that you've been struggling with. You get a real sense of accomplishment, and you're finally able to go back to Firelink and either consume the soul or make a weapon out of it. Another great feeling is the one you get whenever you discover a new location, or when you finally reach a much needed bonfire. These are the moments that really make Dark Souls stand out from any other game I've played. You have to fight through this grim world, and when you finally overcome something, it feels lovely. The music in this game is amazing. The soundtrack in Dark Souls 3 is by far one of the best. It really makes you feel immersed in the world, especially during boss fights. In a way, it's almost like the songs tell us a story of their own. It can be mysterious and eerie at times, and other times it can be climactic and fast-paced. The music is something that goes a little underappreciated, but it's definitely a huge part of the game. Dark Souls 3 has a story, something you're trying to accomplish, but most of the NPCs are pretty vague about what you have to do. If you truly want to get some insight on what it all means, you have to read descriptions and speak to NPCs.
The wait has been long, unkindled one. I am Emma, High Priestess of Lothric Castle. Allow me to speak frankly. You will not find the Lords of Cinder here. They have left, gone, to their churning homes converging at the base of this castle. Head to the bottom of the high wall, forge on through the great gate, and raise this banner to proceed.
Every weapon, armor, and item has a description which you can read. Exploring the game's lore is almost as exciting as exploring the world itself, as it gives you knowledge about the world you're in. It's also a beautiful way to tell a story, and in the end, it'll help you understand the ending which you get. This type of non-linear storytelling may not be for everyone, but I personally enjoy it because it allows us to interpret things in our own way, and in a way, make our own story. There are also NPC quest lines that you can follow, and these aren't just the type of quests that let you pull up a menu and a quest marker to tell you what to do. No, you actually have to listen to the NPCs and find them in the world. Pretty soon you'll find out that a lot of NPCs aren't too different from you, just trying to survive.
But we're talking true legends, with the metal to link the fire. We're not fit to lick their boots. Don't you think?
For those who don't know, Dark Souls has a multiplayer feature where players can put down signs and can be summoned to other people's world. They can fight bosses together, fight enemies together, and engage in jolly cooperation. There's also an invasion feature so players can engage in PvP. The PvP in this game is great. It keeps the overall quick feeling of Dark Souls 1 and brings along some mechanics from Dark Souls 2, such as the guard break riposte and being able to miss backstabs. The overwhelming number of armor, weapons, and covenants in the game make for long-lasting PvP. Each weapon also has its own unique moveset and weapon art, which adds even more depth to the combat. And while the PvP may not be perfect, it's definitely better than the previous titles and is super fun. At the moment, spells seem a bit useless, and poise doesn't really work properly. Invaders are also at an extreme disadvantage since hosts can heal extremely quickly without a downside. But if you're willing to look past all of that, the PvP can be very exciting and competitive. Dark Souls 3 is an excellent game, and I encourage everyone to go and buy it. With this being the last installment in the Souls series, there's no reason not to. It's easy to invest tons of hours into this game, and the PvP gives it longevity long after you've beaten the main storyline. Dark Souls 3 has definitely left a good impression on me. It has wonderful environments, a great story, and a real sense of immersion. The enemies are creative, the bosses are challenging, and the PvP looks to be the best of any Souls game. The game also gives players who have played the previous titles a sense of nostalgia, as some of the weapons, armor, and items make a return in this game. Dark Souls 3 wasn't just a game for me. It's a work of art. It's a masterpiece that brings an end to an amazing series. And I can say with confidence that Dark Souls 3 is simply the greatest game I have ever played.
Nameless, accursed undead, unfit even to be cinder. And so it is